to take you out to a live event happening right now. A bus driver was stabbed in Los Angeles. We're learning some new information here from police speaking right now. Let's listen in live here on Live Now from Fox.
Years of age. As the two individuals stood outside, the suspect, we believe, viciously in an unprovoked manner, repeatedly stabbed our bus driver, causing grievous injuries. The suspect then fled away from this location on foot. Responding units, as well as the LA Fire Department, came to the aid of this victim. It was with the extraordinary efforts of the intervention of those paramedics as they worked to save this man's life as he was transported to a nearby hospital, as well as the extraordinary intervention by the trauma team at Northridge Hospital, that I am somewhat encouraged to report. I was at the hospital earlier this afternoon, that the victim remains in, while critical condition, extremely critical, he is still alive. The natures of the injuries that he sustained were definitely beyond life-threatening, and certainly in many other instances he would not have survived the level of this attack. Now our men and women immediately set up a search of this area, taking imagery from the bus line as well as searching and canvassing the surrounding area to locate this individual. There are detectives from throughout the San Fernando Valley under the leadership of Deputy Chief Alan Hamilton, also the assistance and support of the Topanga Commanding Officer Captain Boateng, along with uniform officers, including the mall footbeat that is typically deployed here in the Topanga Plaza area. Responded here, learning the information of this suspect's description, and worked through the evening in an organized search pattern to try to identify this individual. We recognize that he poses a real and present danger to others, given the nature of this assault. That investigation continued through the night. I want to thank the media for your efforts in publishing the photographs that were given. We recognize that the quality of those photographs were not necessarily well, but they were sufficient. The community stepped forward and began working with us, providing tips and leads that we've worked through up to this last hour. And I'm happy to report in this last hour that this individual has been identified, and our follow-up investigation has resulted in his arrest, and he is in our custody. He is a 17-year-old male. By the fact that he is a juvenile, we believe the one responsible for this vicious attack. We will not be identifying him beyond that point at this point. But I do want to announce to the public that through the outstanding work of our men and women, as well as in concert with the support of our community, who came together recognizing that this type of attack could not go unaddressed, that we were able to identify and bring this person in. We'll continue our investigation into his background, into what would have motivated or set a set of circumstances that would, there's no means of justifying this, but in some effort to try to explain. Because in reality, 1.3 million people a day travel the bus lines across this region. And one of them is right behind me right now. We'll let that go by. Can you hear it? Okay. So 1.3 million ride buses throughout this region. And the vast majority of the time, they are safe. We recognize the perception of a single incident and how it can have such a chilling effect on a sense of one's safety. Bus ridership in Los Angeles is something the Los Angeles Police Department takes very seriously. We deploy bus ridership teams every single day across the network of literally though hundreds of routes. The largest challenge we have in bus ridership as far as safety is we do have low levels of disorderly conduct. We have people who are verbally abusive of bus operators. We have individuals that feel that they don't have to provide by or follow the code of conduct. This type of vicious assault is an anomaly, but it is also one that this department, and I'm happy to report that the MTA, would not have any fashion of explaining away. That instead, it's leaning into provide every resource to us to ensure it was solved. And I believe, again, that we've identified the person responsible and that we will bring him before the criminal justice system. With that, I ask for all of Angelinos for your continued prayers and support of this victim, of his family. I'd also ask the media to allow the family some space. I know there's a lot of questions regarding this driver, his background, his time with MTA, what makes up this individual. And he is a man who's worthy of respect and admiration. but the family is asking for privacy and for distance. So I ask that you not visit where you believe he may be receiving treatment, his home, or any other location. In speaking with his wife this afternoon, she has assured me that when their family is prepared to have any type of communication or conversation with the media, that they'll alert us to that, and I assure you we will reach out to you and let you know that that's an available option. With that, I'd like to return this back to Captain Espinoza for our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Brian Williams.
Thank you, Captain. On behalf of the mayor who could not be here today, we certainly want to thank the Los Angeles Police Department for their hard work in capturing the person who did this most heinous crime. You know, our bus and rail system is really the lifeblood of our community. If you don't feel safe getting on it, you're not going to get on it. And so I'm happy to say that we're doing everything we can to make sure this system is safe. I also want to point something out. Since we've been here today, I've seen 2 buses go by behind us with bus operators operating those buses. And I think that's a testament to the fine men and women who continue to operate this system on a daily basis. On an everyday basis, they do their job to make sure that our lifeblood continues. The mayor is going to do everything in her power to make sure this system is safe, it's efficient. She's looking forward to working with her partners on the MTA board and other communities around where the system goes through, but we have to make it safe. I want to echo the words of the chief once again. The family is absolutely traumatized, and I would ask on behalf of the mayor and on the chief and on behalf of the family as well, that we give them a break, give them some time to be with their loved ones, with their family, and to pray, and that our community pray for the health and the welfare of this young man who drove this bus. Again, the mayor is completely supportive of what's happening at the MTA, the cooperation they've had with LAPD. We're going to do everything and let no stone go unturned in terms of making this system safer, because it's a system for all of us. And again, I want to support those who continue to operate our system despite what's happened. It's a safe system. We want to make it better, and we're going to make it better. And working together, we're going to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is going to be Los Angeles City Council member Bob Blumenfield of the 3rd District.
Thank you. Happy to be here, although not happy about the circumstances. I'm Bob Blumenfield. I represent this area right here. But not only do I represent it, I'm also a neighbor. I live just around the block. I first heard about this when I heard the helicopters above my house, trying to figure out what was going on. And then when I figured out what was actually happened, of course I was sickened to hear that one of our Metro bus riders was stabbed. But I am so grateful to LAPD. Less than 22 hours after that incident, that person is in custody. That is an amazing work by this police department. And I know that they were out in force last night and today, putting the resources necessary to solve this horrendous crime. Also, fire department for being able to be here to get the bus driver to the hospital in time to save his life. And I'm grateful also to all the professionals, Metro, who is continuing to keep the bus system going, to make people feel safe, to our mayor, who really reached out. I was on the phone with her last night, and then she and we met at the hospital last night to meet with the family. She was out here. She's very hands-on in this kind of situation, caring about the city family, caring about the bus driver, caring about our community. So I'm grateful to her as well. This is a very trying experience for all of us. The community hopefully will rest a little easier knowing that the perpetrator has been put in custody, because I know there's been a lot of anxiety. I've gotten a lot of calls from community folks who want to know if it's safe, if this person's still on the loose. So again, gratitude to all the professionals who were able to get this person in custody within 22 hours to help save this bus driver's life so far, and we hope and pray that he will be okay. But what happened to him was not okay, and it is a very difficult situation. But I want to thank you and thank everybody for being here. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is going to be Glendale City Council member and Metro Board Chair Ara Najarian.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ara Najarian, Metro Board Chair. Thank you, Chief Moore. Yesterday's stabbing of a Metro bus operator was a heinous, random act of violence. And our hearts go out to our operator, his family, and his loved ones. We simply cannot tolerate acts of violence on the Metro system. And I so much appreciate the hard work of the LAPD men and women who in such a short period of time, as the Chief announced, and apprehend him. Our operators, along with our numerous operations personnel, work tirelessly on our system day in and day out. They are truly the dedicated public servants who deserve the utmost respect and admiration. And they should never have to fear for their own safety. When these incidents happen, it's easy to question if the Metro system is safe. It's a logical and reasonable question. And it may appear counterintuitive, especially at times like these. But for the vast majority of our daily riders on our system, the system is safe. We carry hundreds of thousands of transit riders every day and hundreds of millions of riders every year without incident. However, one crime on our system is one too many. Safety is Metro's highest priority, and we are deploying numerous resources on the system, including contracted law enforcement services, transit security officers, unarmed Metro ambassadors, homeless and mental health trauma-informed crisis intervention teams, investing in enhanced security cameras, fare gates, lighting, and other safety infrastructure. Working together, we can help ensure everyone travels safely on public transit in LA County. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker is going to be Metro Chief Executive Officer Stephanie Wiggins.
Thank you. On behalf of the 11,000 Metro employees, I want to first thank Chief Moore and the men and women of LAPD for their response, quick response in apprehending the suspect. This is an attack on the Metro family. And I appreciate Councilman Blumenfield, Mayor Bass, even Council President Krikorian joining Chair Najarian and I at the hospital last night, recognizing that we're all in this together and Metro is part of the city family. Just to reiterate, attacks and assaults on our operators, there's zero tolerance for that. I will do everything I can to protect our employees because, as our chair said, every employee deserves a safe place to work, to be able to know that in providing service to others, they can do it in a way that's safe and they can ensure that they get home every night safely. Again, I appreciate the partnership with LAPD. They have, in particular, been an incredible partner in addressing the safety and security challenges we are facing at this time. And working together, we're going to ensure that Metro continues to be and improves on being a safe place and a system where people feel safe to travel every day. I want to also lift up our frontline employees. Every day they come to work to serve. I want to appreciate their dedication and commitment. I want to join the outpouring of support for our operator and their family. And again, both echo and ask for their privacy at this time, but also, importantly, ask for their prayers for a speedy recovery. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I failed to mention when we started that we have with us today Assistant Chief Robert Marino, who commands the entire Office of Operations. He joined us today in support of the investigation and in support of the men and women of this department, our community, and our media partners. We are done with our program statements, but we're going to open it up for questions with the backdrop that the investigation is still ongoing, and the subject is a minor. Okay? So.
Well, obviously, it's not acceptable. Any assault is something that we are not going to put up with. We're taking every steps possible to secure the drivers within their vehicles. We do have a plexiglass screen. We do have operation procedures that we're asking them to follow. We just need to, I think as a society, come to grips that crime and assaults don't solve anything, that if you need mental help, if you need other sort of counseling, that Metro is on the front line trying to provide that. We're hoping that those people who are disturbed do not become violent and do not commit assaults on our drivers or on our passengers. I don't have an answer for that. We have generally asked our operators not to be confrontational. If someone comes in without fare, we don't close everything down. We have other ways to deal with that. It may be a reflection of society, I think, at this point, coming out of the pandemic, people becoming more active, perhaps greater frustrations with their situation, and taking that out on the first person that they see that represents authority, if you will, a bus driver, and there it happens.
I have two questions. First of all, was that arrest today, Chief, this morning by the police conference?
The question was, when did the arrest occur of the individual we believe responsible for this vicious attack? It occurred about 2:45 today, this afternoon.
Thank you. Now, the other question is, there's a little discrepancy. I understood earlier that the reason this happened, well, there was an argument, and if you know what the argument is, I'd be interested in hearing about it, but that the driver was standing outside of the bus. His bus was disabled. He was calling to try to get help to have the bus moved. Is that accurate?
So we're going to continue our investigation. Right at this point, we understand that the driver arrived with a fully functional bus, that the individual we believe responsible got onto the bus, some type of dispute arose, both exited the vehicle, and while outside, the driver was just viciously attacked and stabbed, and then the suspect, the person responsible, then fled the location.
So it did happen outside the bus.
So we'll have, again, our ability to further investigate witnesses and so forth. Obviously, preliminary information, all subject to change. That is the information as we know right now. Yes.
Chief, where'd you make the arrest?
Arrest was made at what we believe to be the resident of the individual responsible.
In which city?
Here in Los Angeles, in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay. And then for the Metro, I mean, are you guys at this point eyeing putting more officers
Right. So the question is, do we intend on putting armed officers on more buses and all that? So we have a multi-layered approach at Metro for safety. As I said, we've got our top tier, which is our law enforcement partners, LAPD, LA Sheriffs, Long Beach. Then we have transit security officers, who many